Finding the one. Finding the one. Any key takeaways for those who are here? So people who are not here, they can refresh their mind. Key takeaways. We can use this mic. So what is a key takeaway? Raise your hand and I'll bring the mic to you. Yes.
So the main message was just to find God before you start looking for relationships and stuff like that. And that's what he meant by finding the one, as in the one is the Lord Jesus Christ.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and there's a lot of points that he mentioned, but once you establish that relationship with God, then you can start looking, and God will send you the one. You don't have to look for a man or a woman or whatever it is. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So the key point there was finding the one. The one is God himself, and once we find God, we're going to find the partner or the person. You're going to see that God is revealing who that person is to us in certain ways. And we usually fall into the trap of finding the one, which is the one around us, and we spend all of our time looking for that one. But we are never satisfied. Why? Because we are missing the true one. And that's where we go wrong. Any other key takeaways? Thank you so much for sharing that. Any other takeaway from last week's talk? After you find the one, Bassem gave us some rules, if you remember. Did anybody remember? Yes, Million. Oh, not Million.
Okay, so, this is really loud.
Cheat sheet. Okay, I'll take it.
So I made a little note on my phone.
Okay.
But I remember that he said you should be the right person after you make a note.
You should be the right person.
Yeah, after making all the notes about what you want the other person, you should be that person. And he also said that what you see is what you get, and you shouldn't expect people to get better after marriage. They usually get worse.
Yes. They get worse.
Yes, and you should also be...
Who's married over here? Should we ask them that question? Anyway, come on.
And he said that you should be proud of the other person in all different areas and of the decisions they make and how they lead their life. And that love creates a strong foundation, but it's not enough. And there's ebbs and flows in life, and love is just a strong foundation. And you should pray and work on your relationship with God to see if it's going to lead you in saying, into seeing if that person's really right, and you won't really understand that voice unless you have a strong relationship. Yeah, that's why.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. You remember Bassem? He's an Aussie, so he was using one word all the time. Remember that word? Garbage. You're going to watch a movie and it's a love movie and they're going to get together and they live happily ever. Garbage. Doesn't happen. You're going to see them running on sandy beaches. Garbage. It doesn't happen. All that kind of stuff. One thing that you said is that what you see is what you get is really, really important. Because what we sometimes do is we brush over red flags. Do you know what is meant by red flags? Okay? We see something that, really? You're not expecting. This is not something that you think you can easily adapt to, but because you're searching for the wrong one first, you start brushing over these red flags. And then you say, well, after marriage, things are going to change. I just want you guys to be aware of something. After marriage, there's a whole set of new challenges that you're going to face, which you're not facing now. Okay? Now, as singles, your challenges that you're facing are a walk in the park. Okay? But what you're going to face after marriage is a whole set of challenges, and each phase is there to build you closer together in God, if you're smart enough. If you're smart enough, that's what each phase is. Before marriage, the challenges before marriage are set you to come together closer in God. After marriage, different set of challenges, still to make you come closer together in God. After children, different set of challenges, still to make you come closer together in God. And that's how it is. So if from the beginning you're missing the one, and if you're in the beginning setting unrealistic expectations, don't expect that after that it's going to get any better. Okay? So that's a very important thing. And the other thing that I also really liked is about, work on yourself. Work on yourself first. We always look at the other and we try to, I hear a lot of this sometimes, now becoming, a spiritual guide or father of confession. Abuna, I am trying to make him the best version of himself. Garbage. Okay? This doesn't work. Okay? The best version of himself or herself actually works only in one way. The best version of yourself. You work on yourself. Don't think that by working on someone you're going to make them better version of themselves. That's a very selfish view because you're focusing on trying to make that person what you want them to be. That's selfish. Okay? They should be here by now. Anyway, I'm running out of waffling to do. Yes. Valentina. Go ahead, Val.
That you shouldn't get into a relationship if you're not ready to serve the other person. If you're looking at what you can take from the relationship or what you expect that person to do for you, then you shouldn't really get into it until you're ready to actually be of service rather than what to take.
Beautiful, beautiful. So if I'm going into the relationship to take, I don't think it's going to be really right. But if I'm going into a relationship to give, that's where things are going to change. And I think we're going to start off tonight. I'm actually going to start off with a question to the panelists. That's a surprise. So I'm going to start off things with a question. But second panelist just walked through the door, thank God. So now we can, and he's already signing the cross and praying so that you guys have mercy upon him, so give him time. And then hopefully we're going to be starting very soon. So I'm going to explain how things are going to work tonight because it's not going to work traditional, we have questions and then they're going to go through them. First of all, can you all stand up? Stand up. Yes, sorry to get you out of your way. Whoever does not trust me, sit down. I saw you. Now, honestly, the reason why I ask you to stand up is because of something. I want you just to refresh, take a deep breath, because I want you to understand that this is a safe haven. Safe haven means please ask questions. Sit down again. Thank you for standing up. Today is a live debate. So a live debate means we do not have any questions. You guys are going to dictate how this panel is going to work. You can ask any question around dating. So now we've assumed that from the first session, we found someone. Okay? After we found the one, we found someone. Okay? And now we're going to step into dating. So the questions that you're going to find answers to is your chance tonight. First of all, we should never assume that the person asking the question is the one struggling with the question. Okay? Let's not assume that. Secondly, there is no stupid question or sensitive question. Thirdly, respect and love each person. Okay? You never know what people are going through and you never know what they really want to hear. And you never know what you could be facing in the future. So please, I really encourage you to ask questions as much as you can. We're going to have an MC, definitely much better than myself. She's going to be making sure that we all stick to time. There's going to be a mic that will go around, and questions, you can ask questions. If anybody is struggling to ask the question in public, we can send out a link and you can start posting the questions, and then we can feed them to the MC. Okay? But I really encourage you to ask questions. Don't shy away, because this is really our chance to open up. You might be asking the question that somebody next to you is really needing an answer for. So don't think it's a stupid question. Okay? And now that I think we have the full set of panelists, thank God, I can start introducing them. So, first of all, we have our first panelist. She's actually an expert in many things where it comes to counseling, therapy, things of that sort. She works with children as well. And she's married to an amazing young man, because I love him, Habibi, Michael. And she has 2 beautiful children, and we can get a lot of insight from her. Please welcome Irini. Secondly, he once upon a time led Friday meetings. He was here when we had the 30-year anniversary of Feast. He was actually up here and he helped us quite a lot. He is a man of a good family. Nothing more, Daniel. Please welcome Daniel. And then we said, let's heat up things a little bit by getting a couple who were recently dating before getting married. So the young couple are Yusuf and Mariam, who have been married for over a year, but dating is still going on, I hope. Yusuf and Mariam, come up front. Okay, now that we have our panelists, and we're trying to get the tech up and running. Raise of hands, do we have anyone ready with questions? Dating done right, any question? Don't worry. Okay, I'm gonna go with the first question. Anybody else after me? Okay. Think, don't worry guys. You can ask the question, you can ask whatever question, okay? Okay, finally, the MC who's going to moderate this discussion happens to be the tech lady in the house. It is Joanna, so please welcome Joanna because she has a huge task on her hands. Managing the tech, managing the panelists, and managing you guys.
Give me one sec. I'm so sorry.
Okay, until Joanna finishes, could the panelists please give a quick introduction, each one of you quickly, something better than what I did. Introduce yourselves to everybody.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Irini. Nice to see you all. And I'm just struggling in life like you, and I seek answers to so many questions just like you. And I'm learning to be brave to ask questions.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Danny. If you haven't told by my accent, I'm Australian, but I've been here 20 years. For those of you who met Bassem last week, I was Bassem's flatmate for about 5 or 6 years. But I'll also add a caveat, as he did last week. The friends he was talking about were not me. So, so I will also refer to friends throughout tonight, and they are not him. So just to make that clear, so pleased to meet you all.
Hi everyone, I am Mariam. As with Irini, also struggling and surviving. I genuinely think the reason we are here today is just to be an example of that it's God's grace that covers and bees up and sorts everything out as opposed to anything else. But yeah, excited to be here with you guys tonight.
And hi everyone, my name's Yusuf. I'm also known as Mariam's husband. Just to echo what everyone said here, please take everything that we say with a pinch of salt. It's personal experience. Sometimes we'll try to make sure that we reference the church's view and opinion on things, but we're by no means experts. But looking forward to learning from everyone here and to fielding your questions.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry for the little delay in getting everything started. Right, does anyone want to go first? Anyone brave that has a question for our panelists? Yalla, come on, I can see you. Go on, Amen, come on. You guys can come up and make it as conversational as possible, or you can just sit.
Do we need to date? Like, shouldn't it just be maybe courting from afar? Like, is it dating in the Christian world? Should it be?
Yeah, really good question. Look, I think, I guess we've got to think about, let's think about history a little bit. I want to say something very controversial, and I don't want you to take it the wrong way. Love marriages, not marriages, love marriages are quite a contemporary new thing. So in the old days, and I'm talking well beyond my days, marriages were a calling. St. Paul actually says the same in 1 Corinthians. He says that celibacy is a calling, but as celibacy and a life of service and celibacy is a calling, so too is marriage. And so the real Christian concept of marriage is to fulfill a calling. And then later comes this approach of more than just fulfilling a calling. We start to look in marriage, we start to look for friendships. Could I just ask, just a quick survey, who here has a best friend? Good, I'm glad to see there's not a lot of lonely people in this room. And I bet you your best friends have been friends, most of you anyway, have been your friends for a really long time. And that through your lives, you have filtered the people who aren't friends and the people who are friends and distilled them down to your best friend or best friends. And dating is like an accelerated course in finding your best friend. But beyond that, but not just a best friend, think about what marriage is. And I think Abuna spoke about it last week, and Bassem touched on it last week also. The fundamental premise of marriage, this calling that St. Paul is talking about, that you are called to by God, is to bring someone into your life or to allow someone into theirs, to push them towards salvation, to encourage them towards God. That's it. It is a really high calling. And throughout that journey, you will face a lot of challenges. Like marriage is like a paradox. You know what a paradox is? It's two opposite things at the same time. It's an amazing thing, but also a really difficult thing. And the thing that makes it difficult is us as human beings. We are complex. We have complex histories. We have complex upbringings. We have complex psychology. We change. We go through many experiences, ups and downs. And marriage is not immune from all of these things. So in this journey of getting to salvation or pushing each other towards Christ, you also have to deal with everything this life throws at you. Challenges like children, huge challenge, like illness, like mental health, careers, family issues, deaths. I mean, it's not all bad, but I'm saying there are challenges along the way. And so this period of dating, and it doesn't usually last very long relative to marriage, which is supposed to last the rest of your life. We're talking like 3% of your life is spent dating, and like 70% of your life is spent in marriage, right? It's a pretty scary ratio if you think about it. So is dating necessary? I think it's what you define as dating. If you define dating as having a good time, it's not going to set you up for this calling, right? It's not. Don't get me wrong, dating is fun. But it's not the purpose. The purpose is to figure out if A, you can serve this person, can you really fulfill this calling? Or are you an impediment to that person's calling? Are you going to get in the way? Second, can they help you in your journey towards salvation? In your journey to Christ? Because if they're going to be an impediment to that, then strike two. There's no 3 strikes actually. You're strike 2, you're out. And strike 3, or point 3, the bet you're really trying to figure out, other than can you serve them by helping them on their journey, can they serve you by helping you on your journey, is, are you really ready? Period. If I told you that outside this room, outside this church, in the corridor, there are 20 trolleys of newborn babies, and there's a special offer. You can take one tonight, but you have to commit for life. How many of you would take that up? 0 hands, no surprise. 1 person, very brave. Why not? So the special offer is, take your baby home tonight for life. Why not? Why not? It's not a rhetorical question. I want to hear an answer. 3 babies, going once, going twice, gone. Take 1 home for life. Why not?
Because you'd have to give up your own life.
It's a huge commitment. What else? It'll make me poor. Really good point. What else? Marriage is like a baby, right? Marriage is like a baby. It is a baby. You've got to nurture it. You've got to commit to it. There's no way out. Like, believe me, I've got 3. There's no way out. You've got to be on your top form as much as you can. You can't. It's very hard to falter. If you falter, the baby falters. If you go off the rails, the baby goes off the rails. So it's a really tough commitment. So for me, the third purpose of dating is, are you ready to have a baby? And your baby's name is going to be marriage for life. I mean, these are really hard questions. And if you notice, 2 out of the 3 questions you're trying to answer are introspective. They're about you. Like, are you going to be able to serve this person? Are you going to be able to caretake for this marriage? And one of them is about the other person. So if dating is about answering those 3 questions, yes, an absolute necessity. If you're in for dating to have a good time and to find a mate, then find a friend and leave it there. So that's my personal perspective. I'll tell you a funny story. When I was dating my wife now, she wasn't my wife when I was dating her, that would be weird. When I was dating her, this was before WhatsApp. That's how old I am, right? Or Snapchat, or all the social platforms. So I used to text message. And once I wrote her this text, actually I was speaking to her on the phone. I said, look, on Mondays are my quiet time days. I don't want to, if you don't mind, can we not talk on Mondays? And this was really early on in the days. I got my timing absolutely wrong. Her reaction was horrendous. It was like, are you just saying you don't want to talk to me anymore? But it was a really good opener for a discussion about boundaries and about what's important and what am I doing on these quiet time days? What am I doing? I'm praying about this relationship. I'm asking God about this relationship. I'm asking God to work on me. And that set really good tone for the rest of our relationship and encouraged her to do likewise. So all I'm trying to tell you is use dating to set boundaries, to answer questions, to set the tone of the relationship. So I hope that answers your question, Iman.
I think it does. I think we probably all came into this relationship talk quite lighthearted. And I think you've really set the tone for how serious the covenant is. I think we all go into relationships I just want to find the love of my life and I want to marry someone forever and all of, the garbage, basically, that Bertrand was talking about last week. But no, you've set the tone with how serious it is. I don't know if it's just because I'm standing right here and I feel like you're talking directly at me, but I don't know if anyone else feels the same. Does anyone else want to add on to that? I feel like you've really covered everything with that question, but if anyone has anything else to say.
Just to continue on what you said, it's like you want to make sure, like a baby, you want to make sure that you're ready to have this, ready to commit to this relationship. And I think it's all about, when you all the x-rays done, all the MRIs done, all the CT scans done, all the blood tests done, you want to make sure that this is healthy enough to endure what's happening in life. So I think it's important for dating not to be all the lovey-dovey sunshine, I think, rather than what are your values in life? What are my values in life? How does your day go? How my day goes? And it's about digging deep and really getting to know this person and to know if you are capable to have a marriage together.
Yusuf and Mariam, do you want to add anything? You don't have to, I'm just genuinely asking. I have a follow-up question, to be honest. So going off what you're saying about dating and finding someone basically you're going to sacrifice for and they all sacrifice for you, I think a really common question that I saw was just because someone ticks all the boxes, does that mean it's a green light? Do I go ahead? Isn't there a part of dating that we need to find any sort of compatibility with? Or is it just, you're a very godly person, I'm a very godly person, let's make this work? I think that's kind of what a lot of people assume or think is what they're looking for. They're looking for someone to tick the boxes. Is there a space in dating for just finding someone you're compatible with? Or is compatibility a myth? Is compatibility a real thing? Or is it a myth?
I think it's an interesting question because it's a question that I think we probably had during our dating period, and lots of people who enter the dating phase might have, where they think, is this the one? Is this the right person? How much of this has to be that we gel together and we're smooth, and how much of this is, putting too much pressure on things? I don't know the answer. I can just give you my thoughts, and I'm happy to be corrected. One of the mistakes that sometimes is made in dating, and I'm sure we've made a couple of times, is trying to consider it as a process that is just between two people. I meet a prospective partner, I go through my mental checklist, I try and imagine what's good for me, I think this might work. And then I try and envision a future with that person based off of my own sort of understanding. When the reality is, this sort of, Danny and Irene have been saying, you're sort of preparing yourself for a marriage. And the reality of the marriage is that it's a union between three. You've got the husband, you've got the wife, and you've got God. If you don't include God in your dating process, you're not allowing yourself you're not setting that tone for including him in your marriage process. And if you're not including him in your marriage process, then you're probably not doing it right. Because if the ultimate goal is that you're co-working towards holiness, towards being united with God, you've got a partner, a fellow pilgrim in this journey towards God. If you're not thinking about that in that way, then and you're not including him in that process, then I think you get into a bit of trouble. And so if you go along this line of, is this person compatible to me? Do we get along? And you put so much pressure in terms of thinking, how are things going between us? Do I feel like things are smooth? Do I feel like things are easy? Will this work? Will this not work? And you don't maybe pray about it. You don't surrender it to God. You don't think, actually, God, maybe my understanding, my limitation, my knowledge of who might be right, in quotation marks for me, is limited, and you don't take as an opinion on it, then I think you stress yourself out a lot. And you put a lot of pressure where actually you should be offloading that onto God. And, as Danny was saying, if you've got your weekly quiet time or your daily quiet time and you're praying about that relationship, then that anxiety around it should be in his hands. One of the really impactful things that we read during our dating period was a book by Timothy Keller. Remind me of the title. Something about marriage. But one of the points, I'll get it for you. One of the points that was made is that in marriage, through the years, the person that you will be united to will change. You can never go into a marriage guaranteeing that someone will stay the same, and you can never go into a marriage not expecting change. So you have to be able to rely on the one constant in the marriage and one constant in your life, and that's God himself. Because you might have a person who's supposedly perfect for you. They tick all the boxes, you feel great, and then something happens in life. Ill health, family problem, career problem, crisis of faith, crisis of personality, crisis of whatever it might be, and the person that you were with has changed. Does that mean the commitment's broken? Does that mean because you signed your marriage contract based on that person 5 years ago and now they're different now, then you can step out? Of course not. But the one person who is constant is God. So does it help that when you're dating someone there's a compatibility and you get along? Of course. I'm not saying go out and spend your time with someone who aggravates you and frustrates you and you leave like feeling like this is the worst person ever and then just go for it. I'm not saying that at all. Like, we can be realistic. You want to spend time with someone that you get along with, that's fine. But don't bog yourself down with the question of, are they fully compatible? Don't bog yourself down with the question of, is this the right person? Because ultimately, you do your initial phases, you see whether there's a goal towards working towards holiness, and if you're on board with that and you're generally okay with each other, pray about it, seek counsel about it, and entrust that in God's hands. Because when you learn to entrust it, then you will learn to entrust it in the rest of your marriage life.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can I add something?
Yeah, of course.
The definition of compatibility in Christianity is totally different than the definition of compatibility in psychotherapy and in your work environment. So compatibility in marriage in Christianity is like, who will help me go to heaven and who will be that person? So we've seen so many people have so many checklists and they end up marrying someone who they truly love, but they have nothing to do with the checklist they did in the first place. So I can guarantee, I mean, if we made voting or to see the ratio, like 99% of the people married, it's not with what the checklist they had. So the compatibility is who will help me through the journey. And you'll be amazed to see that opposites attract. And this is how, I think God, in a sense, makes, okay, maybe if I'm too much of this, I need someone to challenge me in this to find a balance. So as long as you're trying to find your compatibility through Jesus Christ, he will make sure he or she is compatible. Rather, it's nice to do the scientific part, but don't fully rely on it, because there is a part where you think this is compatible, but actually it won't lead to heaven.
A lot of links to last week's talk, even though I didn't attend it, but all I was hearing is that the one common denominator is God in everything, in compatibility, in when you're finding your person. So a lot of links there. Okay, any other questions? Can whoever wants to ask, can you actually just come up? Because we want this to be a bit more interactive. Thank you. What's your name? Simon. Hi, Simon.
So I wanted to ask a scenario. Let's say you're Christmas dinner, and then you're cutting the roast chicken, and then you've got your wife and your mum. Who do you serve first? Who's more important, do you think?
Oi, that's a serious. Wait, which phase is this?
in
Dating
marriage
or marriage?
in dating?
I guess marriage, because
Marriage.
you wouldn't
Okay.
have dinner with your
There's
girlfriend
one
and your mum, I guess, in
answer.
Christmas.
One word answer.
One word answer.
If dating, then your future wife. Once you're married, خلاص you're one. So whatever you make, there should be understanding of whatever decision you make, you should be open enough to talk about it, how this made her feel, and you should have an open discussion about it.
Anyone disagree?
I think I actually disagree, though. I think you should always... This is what my mum actually told me. She said, once you have a wife, you should always focus on her first.
You've got a nice mum.
Yeah, I've got a nice one, yeah. So what do you guys think about that?
No, I think you're blessed with a wise mum, and I am too. In that my mother never expected me to put her above my wife or my family. But I know that some people are in different situations, and their parents have different expectations of them, which is a really tricky one to navigate. And I think in the getting to know you part of relationship, this topic of crossover between what you're talking about and compatibility, and I think it was talked about last week, you need to use some of that time to understand the family dynamics of the other person, because it will have a bearing on your marriage, and the other way around. So you need to understand what her parents are like, what her upbringing was like, what his upbringing was like, how that's affected him, how that's affected his worldview, how that's affected his or hers view of family life. There might be some trauma in there that you might need to unpack, and just appreciate that God needs to help you navigate through that. And then there is sometimes a conversation, I think often a conversation that's not had. But I was blessed enough that my parents encouraged this conversation. And this was a conversation between myself and my parents about boundaries for my parents in my marriage. And that's often a conversation that's never had. But like I said, thank God I have very wise parents. And it was a super awkward conversation to have. One that actually I said not very much because I thought I was going to get in trouble, although I was a grown man. But one in which they said, look, you are, by God's command, leaving your mother and father's house and being joined with your wife, and vice versa. And that means a few things, A, B, and C. I'm not going to tell you what they are, A, B, and C. And it definitely set the tone for a really, really healthy relationship between my parents and my wife, and between my parents and myself, because sometimes it doesn't always go that way, unfortunately. So, again, through the dating phase, pray that God grants you and your family and your parents the wisdom to understand that actually they've brought you up to answer your calling. Whether that be a calling of celibacy or whatever. And like I said, marriage is a calling. And sometimes you need to remind them, this is the calling which you have been bringing me up to. You've been bringing me up to be a good husband or a good wife. So let me do that. Let me do that. And this is how I see it. So not an easy conversation to have, but like I said, use the dating period to understand the family dynamics. And that may give you this understanding of compatibility, because there are some real practical things on this topic of compatibility, just going back to that. There are a few practical things around compatibility, like not make life easy for yourself. Sometimes there are things that are kind of just make the process easier, and sometimes there are things that make it difficult. For example, I'm not saying avoid difficulty, just appreciate that sometimes things might make the dating and marriage process a little bit harder, for example. And I'm not meaning to be controversial, but if you're from two different cultures, I'm not saying that's bad, I'm just saying it's just something you need to work through. If you're from two different faiths or denominations, it's difficult, right? It's just another challenge to overcome. So some things create friction, not in a bad way. Friction creates heat. Heat creates fire, if you let it do that. So you've got to get on top of it early. And then some things don't create friction and help you just push that, get deeper faster in terms of relationships. So, like I said, don't take it the wrong way, but compatibility can be understood in different ways. And I hope I answered your question about the chicken.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you answered.
Roast chicken, or what are we talking?
Do for anything.
No worries. Turkey for me, but.
Can I highlight the fact what you said about how you should use dating to set boundaries? I think it's important. This is one of the main boundaries that you need to set from the dating phase. You need, with all due respect to our parents, we need to acknowledge the fact we need to set boundaries on how much they are involved, even in the dating phase. Because if we're like, okay, let me involve the parents too much, and then I expect this to change when we're married, it will be much harder and much more challenging. So from the dating, you're setting the tone of how much they are involved, if that makes sense. So if you find this challenging, creating friction, you need to discuss it before you get into marriage. Don't think that once I'm married, I can solve this. Okay.
Any other questions? Yes.
Sorry.
Can you come up front? Come up front.
Sure.
Don't worry.
Thank you so much. Oh, okay. Got it. Hi, everyone. I think I already know the answer, but I'm going to play devil's advocate and ask. Personally, for me, I'm a sucker for dating someone who's agnostic, and hoping that through me they will come to find God and understand the beauty that I see in religion and faith. I mean, after hearing all the answers, I know that that's not the right approach, but do you think it's impossible for that to happen? And then also, how do we expect people who are a bit shaky in their faith to kind of come to know God if people aren't like willing to kind of help them out? Would you recommend maybe, is that like not your responsibility to do as a Christian? Yeah, complicated question.
So there's a huge difference between evangelism and marriage. Okay? So you can try to bring this person to Christ. This is a case. And doing this through marriage, I don't recommend. So I'll tell you something. I married Michael because he's an amazing person who really, truly loves God. Every Sunday I go there. He's there before Abuna. Every Saturday I go and I'm like, he's the one. The house will be a church. We are having a challenge now with 2 girls to come in church on time and to attend Sunday school. You will find challenges in life with your kids telling you, why do we have to do that? I, a person who loves God so much, and I married Michael because I'm like, oh, do we have to go today to church? I need a partner who tell me, yalla, if we don't go today, it means not before next Sunday. Yalla, let's go and then come back and sleep. So even though I thought I have this amazing relationship with God and I thought I'd be strong enough to grab anyone to God, but the challenges of reality is you need someone stronger than you to help you in your challenges and your future kids.
I once heard someone describe marriage as a 3-legged race.
A what?
A 3-legged race, and you will be going at the pace of the slowest person. So if that's basically the message, you want to be not unequally yoked with someone. You want, as Irini said, to have someone that will share what is the most important and the thing that you, like your life orbits around. You want that to be the same with someone. And it's not just because of the whole 3-legged race thing, but it's also because when issues do come up, it becomes a lot easier to address things when you can both go back to the same reference point and say, but hang on, God says this. Hang on, I need to change this because actually I shouldn't be doing that because this verse says this. Or that's not what God asks us to do. It becomes a lot easier when you both have the same reference points.
I just want to add, I think there's not a one-size-fits-all. I think I definitely agree with what's being said. I would encourage you to read 1 Corinthians because in 1 Corinthians, and I refer back to that because there's a lot about this particular topic around marriage and celibacy and virginity and all that kind of stuff. In the early church, people were being converted to Christianity who were married, and one person in the household might get married, get baptized, and the rest of their household would not be Christian. Okay, and I won't go into it now because we need to be concise. But St. Paul has some very clear and concise advice on if you find yourself in that situation, what are the risks to your spirituality, and what do you need to do? And the underlying theme is this. To your point, it's really difficult. And so you need to be super strict with yourself and your spirituality. Like, you need to dial it up. So not only are you kind of trying to, pull someone up behind you to kind of get there as well, you're trying also not to be pulled back. So you need to kind of double down on your own relationship with Christ. And I think if you're in a dating situation, that in the scenario that you've spoken about, it's a very good litmus test. Am I doubling down on my spirituality, or am I compromising? If the answer is, I'm finding myself compromising, and I'll tell you this, even in Christian dating, you start compromising. Just little by little, and then all of a sudden you find yourself, your quiet time day is gone. So even in Christian dating, you start, when I say Christian dating, between two Christians, you'll start compromising. If you need to compromise a lot to try and encourage that person to get up to speed as such, then you've got to make an assessment, and through your spiritual advisor and through the advice you're getting, is this too much of a compromising that's going to actually set me back and make me go backwards? And then you've got to ask yourself a hard question, like, can I really do this? Because it doesn't get easier. Even when the person...
Yeah, for the record, I am single. This is not an ongoing thing, but I just wanted clarity. So thank you so much.
Okay, because we are short on time, I will have to ask that one person answers each question, if that's okay. Okay, next person, because we are short on time, so yalla yalla, someone come up. Anyone? Guys, come on, you look so, yeah, come on, up you come.
Come up, come up.
Yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, should we marry people from different faiths or different denominations? Yeah.
Look, I don't think there's a yes or no to answer to that. I haven't been in a situation where my wife was Coptic Orthodox, so I didn't have to face that challenge, but I have family members who have. Both my sister and my sister-in-law both married from outside the faith.
Outside the faith meaning?
Well,
outside the, sorry to like ask, but...
So one was Christian and the other was...
Not.
Not. And both have successful, healthy marriages, but it took a lot of work and a lot of time, and still is. So it's I don't think there's a black and white answer. Like I said, you just got to identify in dating what's going to cause friction and how you're going to overcome it, and does it fulfill those three principles that I told you? Are you going to be able to propel this person towards Christ? Are they going to be able to propel you towards Christ? And are you really ready for that kind of commitment and promise?
Thank you. Does that answer your question?
So let's just make sure that we clarify this point. So I think what Danny was saying is that they chose someone from outside the faith, then they became baptized, and then they joined the church, because we cannot have someone marrying someone who is not baptized or outside the faith. So just wanted to make sure that everybody understand that. So it's not like they married someone, they were baptized, they joined the church, and then they continued. The marriage then is saying it's become a lot more struggles because they're still trying to adapt to the new life. Just to make sure everybody is on the same page. Small print. Any other questions?
Next question.
I have a question. What if, now out of experience as a priest, what if setting boundaries these days is not really going to help us move forward? So, everybody around us tries, what they're going to get after marriage. So, what if I set the limits, I might lose the person. And should I just be open because that person ticks all the boxes for me, but that person is a little bit, pushing the boundaries of the relationship. They want to become a lot more physical and intimate. To what extent and what are the boundaries?
A relationship should be based on love, trust, respect, and understanding. So this has to do with the basic core of respect. So by respect, it's not just about physical. It's about, I don't eat spicy food. Will you respect that about me and respect, or will you force spices in my food and criticize me for it? I don't like excessive exercise.
I wish it's about food.
I'm saying there should, habibi, in a relationship, it should be based on respect. Whether I'm convinced, whether it makes sense or not, whether I think this is ridiculous, our relationships should be based on respect. Whether I'm convinced, whether it makes sense, it doesn't make sense, I should respect my partner's need. So if I feel I can't hold myself back and I want to have sex with the person before getting married, if the person says no, then I need to respect the boundaries. But there's a whole lecture about...
Sorry, you didn't understand. It's the other way around.
Okay.
It is the person saying no is being pushed to have.
The ones type, I know is a no, it's a big no. When we think of it, if you think this will help you know if you're compatible or not, then can I speak freely? Speak freely. Okay. Having sex together as a couple is like learning how to dance. You will never get it right from the first time. It will never be lovey-dovey on the first time, and you will not be able to understand this person after you have sex together. Okay. You will truly enjoy sex after 2 years of marriage, when you know what you're doing and you know what this person wants and it's like learning to dance. At first, you will step on someone's foot, you will, whatever, okay? So if you think by doing this, you'll get to know this person better, garbage.
So essentially it's, if they are pushing your boundaries, risk losing them because it's probably not the right person for you if they're not respecting you, if I'm correct. Okay, next question. Go on, Chrissy, up you come. Come on, saw a big smile on your face. No, just come ask a question. Yes, yalla. Yalla, come. Just ask any question. All right, go on.
Cool. Hi. I'm going to give it like a paraphrase, but on the one hand, I hear often about how, which is very, very valid, like seek God first and then the partner will come, right? But then on the other hand, I hear, you know, you have to put yourself out there in order to attract someone, right? And two biblical references that come to mind is, I think it's Abraham's son Isaac, when Abraham sent his servant out to find a wife. His servant was like, hey, God, like, help me find somebody, and then he found someone, right? And then similarly, when in the book of Samuel, when they're trying to find a king, he said something similar, like God said, go into this town, and I'll highlight the person, right? So how do you, I guess, hold those two things in contention between, like, God will provide, but then also I need to put myself out there?
Banging question.
I don't think these things are mutually exclusive. You can put yourself out there and God can provide. Again, this concept of like, God's gonna shine a ray of light on my future wife and I know she's gonna be the one and it's gonna be very clear. It doesn't happen all the time. Can it happen? It can happen. I don't think it's a never situation. We have examples in the Bible with our Abrahamic fathers. We've got examples with Tobit and his son. You know, these things do happen. The reality, and sort of what Danny alluded to earlier, is putting yourself out there needs to come with two things. So, you know, you've got the 20 babies outside. When you put yourself out there, are you prepared for what you're putting yourself out there for? You know, there's no point in saying, I'm ready to get into a relationship, but I'm not in the mindset of what that means. Because we don't date for fun. We date with purpose. We date with intention. We're courting with the view that I might be with this person, and then they might be my partner moving forward in this pilgrimage, in this temporary time that we have on this earth towards heaven. So when I put myself out there, am I putting myself out there and doing so with the knowledge that I'm working on myself? With the knowledge that I'm seeking to put myself out there, not as someone seeking to take from someone, but seeking to give into a relationship, seeking to give into a marriage, seeking to understand that this is a process of edification and changing and transformation. So when you feel and when you pray and when you trust and you say, God, I've been praying, I feel like you're calling me to this vocation of marriage. I've done my quiet time. I've spoken to my spiritual father. I feel like now might be the right time. Then make yourself available. Because that's also, and I'm speaking specifically to the men in the room, you need to be available and you need to show that you're wanting to put yourself forward. And if you feel like perhaps through your prayer, God might be directing you to someone, again, not necessarily a ray of light from the sky, but you feel that there might be something there and you've spoken with your spiritual father, then let them know. Say whatever it is that you might need to say to start the conversation and go down that process. And trust and surrender that through that process, if God wants to open the doors for you, he will open them. And if he closes them, he'll close them. So long as they're done prayerfully, so long as they're done with a deep trust and a desire that the end point of that relationship is one that is pure and one that is seeking to be sanctified and edified. So you can do both and rely on both.
I think that's a really common question for people probably in their waiting season, because I think a lot of people in their waiting season are probably like being told you need to seek first Christ, and in your waiting season, that is the time for you to be really, really working on yourself and your relationship with Christ. But then you're in your waiting season, so you're like, so when do I start looking for someone? So it's a very valid question that I think we all have when we're in the waiting period. Next question.
Hi, so I have this friend and we were talking about uni life, and she's pretty new to dating. And one of the things she kept complaining about is that she only seems to attract people who only want her for sex. And so my question really is, does that mean like there's something wrong with that person, or if they're doing anything that kind of gives them that impression that that's all they're good for, I guess?
Can you answer that? I'm just thinking young girl, from what young woman's perspective in this day and age.
Just to clarify the question, is you're asking if there's an issue with the person if they feel that the attention that they are receiving is mainly of the sort where the people that are attracted are only seeking physical.
Yeah.
Like, is there something wrong with what she's doing to be attracting these kind of people?
Yeah.
Potentially.
No.
Oh, I was going to say potentially.
Potentially, you think so? Well, I guess I don't know how to answer this question. I don't think there is anything inherently wrong with the person. I'm sure there isn't. I think sometimes the loudest sources of like the things that are trying to pull your attention can sometimes be the ones that are coming from these kinds of, I don't know, I'm trying to be very cryptic. Sometimes the loudest sources of attention are the people that are trying to just get something physical out of you, or trying to just do something that isn't looking for something serious or long-term or godly. And so sometimes that kind of feels like it's all you're getting, because they tend to be like right there in your face and the loudest, as opposed to sort of the more grounded, like steady presence in your life. Maybe in terms of when you're saying potentially, maybe there is scope to have a bit of introspection and think, is there something that I'm doing and how I'm carrying myself or presenting myself? Or, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. It's a tricky one to answer.
Actually, I'll talk about my experience in Egypt. I'm not veiled, so I used to walk on the streets wearing the way I wear, and then I'd find these men, like these things in the streets, and then I started wearing more like-ish, and then I found it still happening, and then I realized, so the problem is not with what I'm wearing, And I realized it's not my problem. And I realized this is just who they are. So if you are just true to yourself and you just shut these people down with respect, they'll get the message. They're like, oh, so this is not what you want? So I think for all of us, girls especially, I would like to tell you, it's not about this person is rude or this person is physical. You are the one who sets boundaries to whoever this person is. So you shouldn't give an excuse to anyone to do anything just because they are rude or just because they've done it to someone else. So you need to have this confidence of who you are, and you are the one who sets the boundaries, and you don't let the other people treat you the way they treat others, or it's not because this is how they are. There is no such thing, garbage. You are the one who sets the boundaries.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi. Thank you for tonight, by the way. I was just going to ask, sometimes you hear stories or you see for yourself that there's some people in their 40s or 50s or 60s where they still haven't found that person for them. One part of my question is there someone written for you in a way where you kind of just have to leave that to God, where you're just like, somebody's written for me, let me take it easy, it will just come? And why is it, if so, why is it fair that some people don't find that love? I feel like everybody deserves to have love, in my opinion. But if they don't find it, why is that fair that that's their sort of destiny in a way for them to not have that? And should they stress about that?
Again, we don't get married to find love. You need to be loved. You need to know that you are a loved person. So the basic roots of human psychology, two needs. There are two needs, Habibi, you need to have before thinking of getting in a relationship. You should know that you are loved, and you should know that you have a purpose in life. Okay. So I'm not getting into a relationship to be loved. I am loved. I am a loved person. I am fully sufficient with love to an extent I feel my heart will explode, and I need to share this love with someone else. I need to give someone from the love that I have. This is when you should think of a relationship. Okay? Sorry if I'm
just
blunt.
quickly, is so of course God loves us. That's so therefore is in a relationship love even important? As obviously it probably is, but is it still important?
Yes.
Because you have that love from Christ.
Yes.
Is it still important? Yeah.
Yes, it is very, 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 very important.
So it works hand in hand.
Exactly. So here's the thing. You remember when we said the four basic things are love, respect, trust, and understanding. You need the love because at some points your partner will do things that you just wanna. You need the love to be there because the love will give you the patience and tolerance to understand where this came from. If there is no love, you can't move forward. But it's two sides of a coin. You need love and you need understanding.
Someone once told me, you know, when you may be here or may not, but we might relate to this because we've been married a bit longer. When you're dating, you do a lot of things that your other half finds cute. And then they do a lot of things that you find cute. And you're like, I love that about them. It's so cute. Fast forward 7 years, those cute things become annoying, right? So I think the point I'm trying to make is that there is, unfortunately, there's been this, and this is the work of the fallen nature and of Satan. There has been an undermining of what love is. God is love, right? As cheesy as it sounds, God is love. Fact. However, we now live in a society where love is conditional. Yeah. And it's conditional on what I find cute and what I find annoying, if I'm getting what I want most of the time and not having to give if I don't need to, if I'm rich or poor. And so I think once you start deleting God out of the equation which unfortunately society is doing, and anchoring ourselves to physical, material, even lustful things, back to the question we had before, then that's when we know we're in peril. So this getting to know the one is getting to know the definition of what love is. Like I think that's a song.
Sorry, because in English, love is just one word, but in reality, like in the Greek, you have 4 meanings of love and 4 different types of love and how love grows in a relationship. And
so all I want to say is, let's be mindful of not cheapening, if that's a word, what love is. Like I said, love marriages in the contemporary context are not the same as the love that existed in marriages, or the expectation of marriages, love in marriages historically. Like the love, in some cases, I know in the case of my grandparents and my great-grandparents, the love came much later. I'm not saying that's the template, but I'm just giving you an example that there were many successful marriages where love wasn't the seed of the relationship. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying it's, you know, to give you a view of the alternative. I think what is being said here about the priorities, the love will come. The love will come.
I hope that answers your question. If you want. Do you have a mic? But make it quick, please. Yes.
Just to add to that, where about if love is important, right? I don't know if this is necessarily a question, but if in the Bible where it paints Christ, the marriage as the love that Christ has for the church, right? I guess marriage in general would be a representation of that, like with the husbands laying their lives down as Christ did for the church, and women like respecting and loving their husbands, right? So I guess it paints a different picture for the pruning process of when we are actually in heaven, rejoicing, etc. So just to add to that as well.
Okay, thank you. I've got a question that someone's too shy to ask, so I'm just going to read it out, if that's okay. At the beginning of dating, should the boy always do the more effort and the girl just receive, or should it be 50-50? Oh. Okay, I don't know. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, go on.
Can we do it a different way? Okay. Who, raise of hands, let's do a voting. Then we'll give them time to think. Who thinks the boy should be doing most of the effort? Hands up.
What do you mean by effort? That's a good question. Like making the first move? Or like
making the first move,
yeah.
Looking after the lady, inviting her out,
hands up higher.
Paying for the coffee or the dinner when
we
they
can
go
pay for
out.
coffee, they can pay for dinner.
Paying the coffee and the dinner, okay. As I'm saying things, I had boys raise their hands, and as I'm going through the list, the boys are dropping their hands.
Everyone look around so you all know who's saying
okay.
who.
Especially when I went into financials, they started putting their hands down. Amazing. Okay. Who thinks it is a 50-50 effort, or maybe before that?
At the beginning.
Who thinks it is okay for girls to approach the boys if they're interested? Of course, the boys. No, we have girls, okay. We have girls. Okay, good. Finally, who thinks that after the approach, now we're together, it is a 50-50 effort? If you're going to do, I'm going to do. Listen to the question.
Oh, it's 100-100. Is that what you're trying to say?
If you're going to do, I'm going to do. No. Okay. Now let's give them a chance to answer the question.
Is there more clarity around the question now?
I will never say what a girl should do, so I'm only going to speak
Love
for the
that.
guys.
Love that.
And then when my wife speaks, she's right, okay? I think alluding to what Abuna was saying, and also to sort of some of the things that we mentioned earlier, when you do anything in life, let's just forget about dating. When you do anything in life and you do it faithfully, and you're doing it in a sort of pure and good and kind way, you do it 100%. And especially as a guy, if you're going to be courting someone and you're going to be dating someone, you do it 100%. You're not going to convince your future partner that you're going to be a suitable, grounded, excellent, lifelong individual to spend life with if your perspective is, I'm doing something and then I expect something back, I'm doing something, I expect something back. That's very much a conditional kind of love. It's also a very selfish approach. Now, does that mean that you need to be spending all your money on every single outing and you need to be organizing every single day and doing every single thing? That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is when you enter the relationship, you do it to give things fully. And I'm not saying give of your entire self and your being and share all your deep secrets. Again, I'm not saying that. But the effort with which you put into something should be 100%. And hopefully, in an ideal world, in a true Christian and selfless kind of loving way, you give and your partner gives, and you give and your partner gives. And there's this, I don't know if it's a Chinese proverb, but I always like the imagery of it. If you're sitting around at a table and you have very long spoons, if you try to feed yourself with this super long spoon, you're going to hit yourself in the face. It's going to be impossible. But if you feed the other person, they feed you back. That kind of view, that kind of image of a relationship and of dating is what you're trying to achieve and foster. And if you set the tone in your relationship to give 100%, to give selflessly, then you try and build that through your relationship as well. So basically, don't focus on what the other person is doing for you. Focus on what you can do for the other person.
Do you want to add anything?
I think that's the beauty of us having God in the relationship. So when we said it's not just me and my partner, it's God. So I am, as you mentioned, this is like a calling. So I am honest with my partner, not because my partner deserves it. I'm honest because this is who I am as the daughter of or son of Jesus Christ. So because this sets the tone, you know, if something happened and then you're not happy with it, and until you clarify things, will I change my attitude towards this person because I'm just not in the mood? This is not what Christian relationships are. So I need to be honest with my partner, not because this partner deserves it, but because this is a responsibility from my end towards God. So I serve God, I glorify God through being honest, no matter what the other person is doing. So I just compare myself to my standards on me being better of myself for God, not because this person deserves it or not. This is another story.
Thank you very much. Born, do you want to add something?
Yeah. Sorry, guys, just to be very clear, and I'm not joking now. Men, young men, you have to make the move. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm going to be very open and honest. There's nothing traditional about this. It is doing the right thing because we need to understand what the love language that each of us understand. Men's love language is respect. Women's love language is care. Part of the care is men taking the first step, care and support and all of that. When you're going out on a date, you should pay. Yes. It is part of you owning it, and it's part of you taking care of it. Okay? So these are the small things that I'm begging young men, please take the first move. If you're interested, don't wait that miraculously she's going to, notice your charming looks and she's going to come running, begging at your feet. You're the one who's supposed to be getting on a knee. Okay, later on. That's why men get on the knee, not the other way around. So please, when you are interested and you find someone and you've prayed about it and you've even went and you asked your spiritual father of confession, and you fasted about it, and you feel this is the right person, make the move respectfully and give her a chance to pray and come back to you. Okay? And then after that, make sure that you take care of her properly. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that. If any of the young men here disagree with this, you can meet me after the meeting and we'll take
I
this.
think we can talk about it right here. If they disagree, I think we could have an open
Does
discussion.
any of the young ladies disagree? Thank you. No clapping for me, Masandra.
Thank you, Abuna David.
I'd just like to complete that advice. Young women, if the men are paying, please don't order the lobster. As much as we'd love to pay for it. But I think, can I just say something on this? The source of that question was interesting, and I think it's a product of the society we live in. I listened to my colleagues talking about their dating lives, right? And this lack of chivalry, I think is the word, where the man is the gentleman and pays, and is kind of diminished because these days people have date fatigue. So many dates with so many people because of dating apps, because just the availability, the ability to do it, that actually it becomes quite financially burdensome. And then it becomes very transactional. And actually the filters that we're talking about here today are like blue sky. Like, let's be honest. Now that I was shocked when I'm hearing now that if people don't have sex on the first date, that's like, do not pass go, do not collect £200, do not move to the next stage. Like, that's the society, that is the society we are living in. Like, we're talking the things which are above, right? And the world is like more backwards in this respect that we're talking about than it's ever been. So I don't envy you guys. You have such this stuff didn't exist. This kind of mindset did not exist when I was courting my wife. You have a huge challenge, and I fully respect you for it, and I pray deeply for you, because this stuff is like, there's a lot of noise in the world that you guys need to cut through these days. So this is not about being traditional. We are talking, and I appreciate today we've been talking in the ideal, in the gold standard, and the gold standard is not always achievable. And you may take this advice or you may throw it away. But I just urge you, whatever you do, just seek the Lord, yeah? And he'll give you all your heart's desire. So my respect to you guys, and I'm sorry that you're having to deal with all this stuff, because, yeah, my respect to you.
Guys, if you think it's too much to pay for a meal, then please don't get married. Because there will be times where she'll be home, pregnant, and you will need not just to pay for the meal, but you'll need to pay for the diapers, and you need to pay for the milk, and you need to pay for a lot of things, and you need to do it lovingly. So if you can't do this for a sandwich of burger, please don't get married.
Thank you very much. Okay, next question. Another one that someone anonymously asked. So I know sex before marriage is looked down on, but is it wrong to date or marry someone who has had their first experience already?
People's past experience, it is what it is. We need to respect that the person who is today is based on their experience. So I am seeing the person of the present with whatever past they have. Are we going to help each other towards heaven or not? We've all have done mistakes, be it whatever. No one is without mistakes, even if we lived for one day. The problem is we sometimes highlight mistakes other than others. Now, the Bible has significantly said, for example, you shouldn't lie, and how lying is like killing, and how lying is like being the son of the devil, and we don't care about this person is a liar or not. We care about what is the person's past experiences. So the past is the past. We need to deal with the person I am dealing with today. This person today, with whatever baggage, luggage, psychotherapy, whatever it is. Are we compatible? Are we able to move on forward or not?
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next question. Oh, sorry, I just read it. Okay, if the parents don't agree, should I still try to convince them or leave it? With the relationship. Don't all rush at once. Oh, it's a heavy one.
It depends on the relationship the parents and kids have. So is this something ongoing? I don't agree what college you go to. I don't agree how... this is a very vague, with a very huge spectrum. So we need to understand the relationship between the parent and the kids, and this reflects on how things go on forward. In general, you need to have the discussion with your parents. So this is the thing, this is what I always say. So you are a family, I give it a color. Let's say your family is blue, you act blue, you do blue, and your partner's family is red, they do red, they act red. So when you get married, your future house will not be blue and your future house will not be red. You trying to impose blue and nothing but blue won't work, and your partner imposing red and nothing but red, you will become your own new color with your own new experiences. So you need to have this conversation with your parents, and you need to know where this no is coming from. If you're at this stage incapable of having this conversation with your parents, then this is a bigger issue and this has nothing to do with dating. But we need to, unfortunately, in our cultures, we are forced by our parents, and we think the only way to face our parents is by being rebellious. We are not trained, and our parents, unfortunately, are not trained to treat us like adults. So this comes when there is no clear, honest, safe environment to have a communication with parents. But you need to have this conversation and know where this no is coming from.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, this kind of follows on. To what extent should we let their family dynamics affect our choices, especially if it's a bit out of their control? Should we let our parents' choice / decision affect our choice? Kind of follows on, but slightly different perspective. Shall I read it again?
I think in our culture, we are trained to follow our parents blindly, unfortunately. We are in dynamics of our parents choosing for us our careers, our parents choosing for us which university, which I think this is the problem. So it's good. So here's the thing. You are the outcome of your parents. You are who you are based on how they brought you up. So I think this parent, our relationship with parents in this phase, it's totally different dynamics from the relationship we had when we were 10 and 12. Unfortunately, our parents keep on acting and treating us the way they treat us when we were 9 years old. They know best, but their love for us and lack of knowledge and experience on how to communicate as adults tarnishes things. So I think this is for you. You can help your parents with love and respect, okay? So your parents are doing this because they love you so much. They don't want you to get hurt. They're afraid you take your choices on your own. They will think, I always know best. So there is a difference between, thank you, mom and dad, I respect your love for me, I respect your affection, I know you love me, I know you care about me, but you need to tell them nicely to back off.
Can I just add to that? So, don't get us wrong, right? Your parents aren't idiots. They've been around, they know things, they've seen things, they've experienced things, right? So that they have a wealth of experience. Maybe often their intentions are good, but their delivery may be flawed. So, and I've been here, right? What I would encourage you to do, if you find that your parents are telling you rather than advising you, like they're telling you, don't be with that person's bad for you, this is going to end badly, try your best. I know this is not easy with sometimes hot-headed Egyptian parents or Coptic parents. Say, look, I want to listen to you, but rather than tell me, ask me questions. Ask me. Don't tell me. Let me give you an example. Rather than tell me this person is bad for you, ask me, what do you like about this person? Because if they ask you the right questions, they will bring you to the right answers, or you will bring yourself to the right answers. Like, you know, it would happen to me all the time. My mum would look, what do you like about her? Behavioural therapy, see? I think I should get a degree in psychiatry now. So what do you like about her? Oh, you know, great cook, great dress sense, you know, lovely. And then you think, oh, actually, is that enough? So try and just ask them just to reorient their advice into questions, and then give yourself the opportunity through their questioning to hear their advice. Because I think sometimes delivery turns into an argument, and then actually you'll go and make the right decision. More often than not, you'll go and make the wrong decision just out of defiance. It's just the way we're built. You know, Adam and Eve, the reason why they fell is out of this innate rebellion that God put in us. God put in us the spirit of rebellion to rebel against evil. Unfortunately, we rebelled against good. And sometimes that corrupt nature that still exists in us puts its head up every now and then, particularly when the person in front of us is well-intended. So just think about that next time they're in your face about something. And then try and just, tell them, get them to chill. It might not be in the moment. And then come back. I get what you're trying to say, but ask me questions rather than tell me what to do.
To continue on that, ask what questions, don't ask why. So if you ask why are you saying that, that has to do with her in psychotherapy, internal. Ask what questions, okay? Just, you can Google powerful what questions.
Thank you all so much. I think some real wisdom has been shared tonight, and I feel very lucky to have been here and to hear. Can we get a round of applause? And thank you guys for all your questions as well. Thank you all very much.
Just before you step down, quickly, each one of you, one do in dating, don't in dating, red flag in dating. One from each one of you, quickly.
But yeah.
Quick.
Fire ones.
Quick, fire round. So don't expand, just say what is it. Do this, don't do this, that's a red flag.
Do take the opportunity to try and serve with the person if you get the chance. It's a wonderful way to...
Serve.
Yes.
Don't.
Don't isolate yourself. Seek counsel from someone trusted, a spiritual advisor, priest. What was the last one?
Red flag.
If God's not in it, don't continue.
Oi, oi.
Hey.
Nice one.
Do surrender to God. Quick verse, if I may.
Okay.
There's
She's looking for approval. You've got that.
a verse in Exodus that I held on to, and anytime I speak with a friend, I give it to them as advice in dating. Moses was praying, and he was saying to God, if your presence does not go with us, do not move us from here. If you're not going to be with us, don't let this continue. Close this door. Don't compromise on Christ. Red flag, how they treat their friends and family.
Great answers.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to add. Yusuf just hit the nail on the head.
No, hang on. You're not getting off the flag. Come on.
Similarly, do maintain your spiritual routine. don't compromise on your spiritual routine, and a red flag if someone is encouraging you to compromise on your spiritual routine.
Spiritual routine. Yeah. One could have answered all three. Okay.
Do pray together. Don't test the person in front of you. Don't provoke them just to see how things are. Don't just be yourself. Red flag if a person can't control their temper. Grown-ups with tantrums.
That's a no.
Okay, all of you angry boys out there, you've gone off. No more girls are going to be interested, so watch out. Thank you so much. One more round of applause to our panelists. And of course to Joey, who managed this so well. We can now release you instead of being in the limelight. I do not have many announcements to make, except that next week we're continuing our panel, but now we're moving from finding the one into now dating done right. If you still have questions, by the way, on dating and you're not able to bring them up, our panelists are kindly going to be staying with us, so you can approach them downstairs and ask them all of your tough, shy questions so they can answer you in confidence. Also, you can also approach your spiritual father of confession, aka Abuna Anthony, if you want. But please also approach your fathers, and God willing, you'll get answers. Next week, we're going to have now the final panel of the series, and it is the two become one. So it is now moving more into marriage, the mindset of marriage, the sacrament of marriage. And this one, we're going to open a Slido with questions beforehand. We wanted to give you guys the chance here today, the ones who are coming, to ask the questions on dating, but we're going to open the Slido hopefully early next week, so you can start putting your questions through. Now, I've realized that we have a number of new people. If you are here for the first or second time, raise your hand. Up high, up high, up high, up high. First or second time. There we go, there we go. Do you know who to go to, guys? Do you know who the servants are? Or the people responsible for the meeting?
Servants, put your hands up.
Okay, feast servants, can you please stand up? Feast servants, stand up, stand up. Okay, there are two at the back. The others are preparing downstairs, so you can find them downstairs when you get down. Please approach any of them. Make sure that you get registered on the WhatsApp group so you know all the talks and everything that's coming up. And if you have any questions, there's Daniel, who's also a feast servant. He just walked in at the back there, so you can approach him. So yes, please, let's make sure that we reach out to everyone. Final request. I always ask this from you at the end of the meetings. Let's hope that you can remember. I haven't asked it for a while. What is it that I ask for? Sorry? If there is someone that hasn't been here and you've noticed that they're not here, please reach out to them, message them, ask about them. This is the service part that we're called to do. We're called to care for each other. So please make sure that you reach out to everyone. The people who are supposed to be here tonight, please reach out to them. They might be in desperate need of your message. Any other announcements? Okay, can we please stand up for prayer? Name of Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, one God, amen.
We thank you, Lord, for gathering bringing us here today. We thank you, Lord, for your presence. We ask from you, Lord, to give us the wisdom, the holy wisdom, not the wisdom and the smartness of the world, but your wisdom, Lord Jesus Christ, that you might enlighten us, help us get to know you and be in a relationship with you, and fill us with your eternal love, so you may rule over our hearts and minds. Enlighten us so we can move forwards towards you and to be in you and with you.
Lord, we put these prayers before you, the prayers of our hearts, our minds, and our tongues, asking for the intercession of St. Mary, St. Mark, your psalmist, and King David, all your angels and saints and martyrs. Hear us, Lord, when we pray thankfully together. Our Father, who art in heaven, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And now may the love of God the Father, the grace of his only begotten Son, our Lord, God and Savior Jesus Christ, the fellowship and communion of the Holy Spirit be with you and dwell in you forever. Go downstairs in peace, and may the peace of the Lord be with you all. Please join us all downstairs. Pizza is available, drinks, and fellowship. out and paying the bills, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm so excited. You know, feels so good. Oh, yeah. My brother's left company. That's what the company, yeah? I was saying, that was my first time. I was trying to go like, this is so easy. I have this accent, like, no, it's so calm. Honestly, guys, it's easy. Once you do it, I've never had vegetarian. Quite right. I swear, something. Oh God, I can't wait to not be here next week. I love you and everything, but I hate this. And I actually hate this. I don't understand this technology. Only one of the lights were working. I literally was just. I don't mind being up there. Honestly, I don't do anything. I'll dance at rugby. I don't. I just hate technology, I want someone to do this job. Which I have to do that. Anyways. Are they going on Tuesday as well? I'm going on Wednesday. I'm going to go for this. How long is it? Oh, it's not long. Fair enough. Okay, guys, you're going to eat because I'm going to go eat. I don't understand it. I'll go this way because it's less crowd. It's going to be a bit stuffy.
Nah, this is good.
Huh? Last October. Very few of them, not all of them. Yeah. They have classes you can go to. I'll find out online. There's quite a few. There's more than one. Yeah. I'll find out which ones are on and join them.